We are back with our breaking story here. It's a sad story to report to you that Mary Tyler Moore has just died. She was 80 years of age. She was surrounded by, we're told, her family and her husband of some 33 years. We've been talking to all these different voices of her past, and now with me on the phone is Reiner, who really helped give Mary Tyler Moore her very first big break way back on the Dick Van Dyke Show. Mr. Reiner, thank you so much for joining me. I am so sorry for the loss of someone I'm sure you cared very deeply about. Can you take me way back to when you first noticed her?
Oh, well, yes, I can. When we were casting the Dick Van Dyke Show, we had already cast Dick, and I was looking for somebody to play his wife. Sheldon Leonard and Danny Thomas were my partners. They were the executive producers, and I actually saw 23 different girls, and it didn't quite work. And finally, I sent for somebody in New York who I'd heard about. She came out, and she was okay, but she was much too strong for Dick. And because Danny was putting up the money, I told him about that, and he said, you know, he said, who was that girl who auditioned for me to play my daughter, but her nose went the wrong way? He was Lebanese. And he said she had 3 names, and she was on a Richard Diamond show. She played a secretary. All you saw were her legs. Well, I looked it up, and it turned out to be Mary Tyler Moore. I called her, and she was reluctant to come in because she had failed in two auditions that week. But she walked into the room, and there was this beautiful, starry-eyed girl with beautiful hair and legs. And I asked her to read. I gave her a page, and she read the first word, the first line, actually. And I heard a ping in her voice. I've said this before. When my hand became a claw, the way the kind of claw that in those machines that pull candy out of. And I clawed the top of her head, took her down the hall, and deposited her in Sheldon Lenz's office. Here, I found her, and that was the beginning.
No kidding. No kidding. And so what, I mean, I was just talking to Dick Cavett, and he kept talking about her beauty, but that she was also so funny. Where do you think she got that? Where did that spunk, that sparkle come from?
He'd never thought of herself being a comedian. And the first day on the show, she was worried about that. She said, I never did anything funny. She was Miss Hot Point dancing. She had never done anything. And as a matter of fact, the first thing, there was a scene where she said she cries, but funny, you know, funny crying. Yeah, how do you cry funny? She showed me. I cried for her, and she used that cry, but her "Oh Robs" and all of those were all her. She learned not to learn. Inside of her was a comedian dying to come out, and it came out in starry form.
Mr. Reiner, when's the last time you were in touch with her?
Oh, it was some big black tie event. It was very sad because she looked fine, but her childhood diabetes had taken away her vision, and she didn't know it was me until I got real close to her, and I started talking to her. She said, "Oh, Carl, how are you?" And we hugged, but she barely saw me. It was very sad.
What do you have of all the, I'm sure, hilarious scenes? Do you have a favorite all-time scene of Mary Tyler Moore?
As a matter of fact, I wrote a book called How and When the Dick Van Dyke Show was born, and my favorite all-time, and there's many people's all-time scene, was it called Coast to Coast Big Mouth, where Mary tells the world that Alan Brady, the character I played, wore a toupee. And when she comes in her office and tries to apologize, it may be one of the funniest scenes ever done on television. And Mary was sensational trying to apologize for telling people that I was bald. As a matter of fact, they made that, they colorized that show. It was on the air not too long ago, and it looked sensational.
What was her relationship like with Dick Van Dyke off camera?
You know, they said it later after if neither one had been married at the time, they were really in love with each other. Well, they kissed each other. There were sparks that they would not allow to. They dampened very quickly. But they both admitted later that they could have become a couple if it were not for the fact they were both married.
Who did? when we talk about female comedians today, and I think of someone great like a modern like Amy Schumer, you know, I'm sure. I mean, what do you think she did for the Amy Schumers of the world? Just Mary Tyler Moore's even existence and success so many years ago.
Well, I think Mary broke it open for a lot of people who could not only be funny, but who were deeply talented actors. Amy Schumer is a force of nature. My God, but she did. The train wreck that she did, that she wrote and directed, and was extraordinary. I mean, it was one of the best movies of the year, no question about it. I adore that girl, but it's cut from the same cloth, except Amy was much more creative. She was a writer. Mary never, but Mary could dance like nobody, and that was what, when she did the soft shoe, I melted.
That's how she started her career. She was dancing. You know, I understand she got into it from dancing, and of course, you know, you found her, and the rest is history.
Yes, it's history for me, history making for me.
Carl Reiner, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.